What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, we got a spicy pick here in the Ultra League with a strong back line of Annihilate and Feraligatr, but our spicy pick is the Shadow Hundo Electrode here in the Ultra League. I was told by SourBValor, who sent in these battles. They went on a pretty good run running the spicy Shadow Hundo Electrode, and I'm eager to see these battles because I love Electrode. It's been one of those like electric Pokemon that I really like to use, especially in those spicy cups, you know, back to like Love Cup, Kanto Cup, those other things. So we're going to get into these battles straight away here, and appreciate SourBValor for sending the battles. Trainers, if you'd like to send in battles to the channel for Shoutcasting, you can do so with a form in the description and the pinned comment that you can find to submit those battles. Let's get into the games here, featuring this Electrode. First game is going to be an ice lead. Here we got the Tapu Fini on the lead here, and that is going to be followed up by Giratina Safe Switch. Now, Feraligatr and Annihilate is the elephant in the room, in my opinion, because, like, a lot of the times, in order to make some spicy stuff work, you gotta put it with something that's really meta, right? Like, so Annihilate and Feraligatr is one of the strongest duos in the entire Ultra League, so it makes sense that, you know, you can have a good run with those two Pokemon on your team with whatever you put in the front. But the other truth of the matter is that Electrode is a really interesting pick, and you could honestly, if you want to run a team similar to this, you don't even need Electrode. Just run another electric type. Ampharos works perfectly fine in the place of the Electrode here. Just because electric is a type that often trainers are ABA weak to in the open open Ultra League. There we go. We got there. Don't worry about it. All right. But this Giratina is gonna get taken out. But the nice timing, that reaction time was actually really nice. The opponent swapped out to try to catch the Ice Beam on their Tapu Fini, and then the reaction time by SourBValor here allowed him to not throw the Ice Beam, but save it, bank it, switch into the Electrode, and Thunderbolt down. And now here's the thing. Foul Play is the coverage move of choice on Electrode. You could make a choice between Thunderbolt and Discharge if you want to. Thunderbolt's still pretty good, but it's an extra Volt Switch typically to get to it. But now it's in a bit of a strange situation here for the Annihilate, because it's going to have to eat a Shadow Ball, and I'm not honestly sure if that KOs. It doesn't KO here, but we're going to be able to get into the Feraligatr to go for the Hydro Cannon. That's going to do enough damage to take it out, and now you're going to hope that you can get to the Night Slash. I think there was a safer way to play it, was to stay in the back with the Feraligatr, let the Annihilate get to the Night Slash against the Skeleturge, and then just, you know, do it that way. But either way works, we're going to get to the next game here. Alolan Muck on the lead in the next game. This is a tricky lead for this whole team here, as the Electrode has to go for the... Oh my goodness, that is a simultaneous switch into the same matchup once again. Look at that, Giratina's on the field again. But the Alolan Muck's dark typing here makes this a very difficult thing for the team to just handle on its own. Right, because Shadow Claws are resistant from Feraligatr, Annihilate's energy entirely gets walled, and Electrode has to reach for the Thunderbolt in order to do any meaningful damage here. So, I definitely think that if the opponent's keen on shielding here, which they don't seem to be, I would be looking to reach for that Ice Beam there. Just because the Hydro Cannons are all resisted, and yes, at some point you will knock it out, but maybe Valor was looking to try and give the Giratina, or not the Giratina, the Alolan Muck as little farm as possible. But going for a combo play now to get the second shield or get rid of the Giratina, as this is honestly the biggest issue for Annihilate that we've seen so far. Even though Annihilate, the energy doesn't go very far into this Muck, those counters are still going to do a lot of damage. The opponent goes for a cheeky little Acid Spray there. But the Thunderbolt will be reached on the Electrode, and it's going to come down to whether the opponent decides to give up another shield or just save a shield for what's in the back. They decide to shield the Muck here, and now Annihilate gets to come in and absorb any energy or even shield here. I think the opponent has reached a Dark Pulse, so this might be worth the shield. They do go for the Dark Pulse. It does connect. It's just going to come down to what's in the back here. Now is when they're going to start throwing the Acid Sprays, though. And this is going to be unfortunate. Yep, Acid Spray. It's like I knew it was coming, man. Acid Spray, not going to be enough here, but in comes Feraligatr to allow the Annihilate to reset that debuff, and now the Shadow Ball is going to go through. That's going to do a lot of damage, and we're going to be able to, with a shield, get to the next Shadow Ball. The opponent could certainly Icy Wind here if they want to, and they probably will. And this is probably one of the last times we will ever have to suffer through Poliwrath Annihilate metas, because if y'all haven't seen the new move updates for the next season, which by now you probably have. I've made a video, and there's some other content creators have too, but counter is being nerfed. We're getting into the next game. We've got a Gyarados on the lead. Another great lead for Electrode. And the opponent swaps in an Empoleon. I'm telling you, trainers. I'm telling you. These teams are often weak to Electric in the front and back. You can take advantage of this. Electric types are very good in the current Ultra League meta, as long as you have one that has play into things like Annihilate, maybe even Green, right? You know, stuff like that. Now, one of the going for the Night Slash there for sure was the call, because Night Slash will always knock out from that range. So going for the farm down here, and for all we know, this this is a matchup that maybe SourBValor's not completely they're not very used to seeing, right? Because you don't see a whole lot of Empoleon. So for all they knew, maybe they weren't sure that it was going to get the knockout, and they wanted to get the for sure knockout. That's respectable, right? That's all you can really hope for, is just to make sure you guarantee that knockout. But the opponent's rocking a Toxicroak in the back. I haven't seen one of these in months, dude. But I love Toxicroak. Toxicroak, not going to have a good time here because that pacing is very much so not in its favor. They can only get to one move here. The Feraligatr does get to a Hydro Cannon, but loses Charge Attack priority to the Toxicroak, which is going to throw in Mud Bomb, and we call it. Saving the shield for the Electrode here to be able to Volt Switch down the opponent. The opponent is going to throw this Mud Bomb, and I think at this point you just let it go and go for the Volt Switch down. Mud Bomb taken up for Alligator. Electrode going in for that Volt Switch farm down, and now it's going to be able to get to this Thunderbolt, but the opponent decides to quit instead. Good game. All right, we're getting into the next game here. We got a Primarina. I haven't seen one of these either. We're in veteran elo range, and there's some wild stuff here, man. People are really trying to... No. Every time this happens, I stop the video and explain it, because I want everybody to understand why this is a terrible idea, okay? So, Primarina on the lead, all right? That's the first thing we saw here, okay? They were probably trying to deal with Poliwrath or Annihilate. I get it. That's a completely fine thing to do. However, never, ever safe swap something with a double weakness like a Alolan Sandslash unless there is a specific purpose to it. Now, the opponent might have Obstagoon in the back for all I know, but from this particular standpoint, you can see that the point of a safe swap, right, and just to kind of explain, the point of a safe swap is to try to get an advantage or align yourself with a better situation, right? Get energy, shield, or switch advantage with that safe swap. So you typically want it to be something that's safe. Feraligatr is an extremely good example of this. Greedent is another very good example of this. Alolan Sandslash is not, because it is begging to get bodied by double super effective damage from fire and fighting, which are fairly common in the Ultra League anymore with Skeledirge, Talonflame, and then Annihilate and Poliwrath. This trainer safe swapping Sandslash is essentially guaranteeing that it is going to get fully farmed down, and the Primarina is going to have to eat 2 Shadow Balls. So I just wanted to point that out. Not to rudely disrespect the way the trainer's playing the game. I mean, they're gonna do it however they feel like they want to do it, and that's okay. But look, there's no shield. You don't need to do anything against the Alolan Sandslash. And then here comes the Primarina, and it's gonna have to eat a Shadow Ball anyway. And this is what I'm saying, right? Like, safe switch. The opponent now, either they lagged out or something, but I don't know if they were using Waterfall or Charm in that specific thing, because I didn't get to see what the animation was. I think it was Charm, but I'm not sure. But the opponent looks to have just quit. And, like, this is... Look, safe switch the Skeledirge. They were going to get hard countered anyway. I get it. In this particular game, there's no way the opponent wins. They were triple hard countered all the way through. SourBValor gets Electrode on the Primarina. We get Annihilate on the Sandslash, and then he would have brought in Feraligatr to deal with the Skeledirge. But there's still a lesson to be learned here for all of you, and I hope that, you know, that helps. I hope that y'all kind of know that, like, you know, don't safe swap something like Obstagoon or Sandslash or Bastiodon or things with double weaknesses that can easily just be farmed down and abused for energy, because that is a recipe to lose games. So, speaking of losing games, that is a Shadow Snorlax in the Ultra League trainers. That is a fighting type bait out if I've ever seen one. But unfortunately, SourBValor also sends out the Feraligatr here, which is doing double resisted damage with the Shadow Claws, meaning that they're in a very bad position for this matchup. It's like dealing with Greedent, right? You always have to be cautious when dealing with this because you don't have the ability to farm down ever, and that's what Shadow Claw is primarily like good for, is being able to farm things down, you know, apply fast move pressure. But now, like, Annihilate comes in, and what's going to be in the back, I don't know, but they're going to bring in whatever was in the lead most likely, because they were trying to bait out the Annihilate, I would imagine. What was Electrode dealing with in the lead? It was another Annihilate, right? So they have an Annihilate in the lead. There's a Snorlax in the back. I guarantee you that there's probably something else in the back that is weak to fighting. So hopefully Electrode can clean up here. It could be Registeel. It could be, you know, Alolan Sandslash. Could be, you know, another, maybe, I hope it wouldn't be a Dark type, honestly, because that would be incredibly weak to Charm. But the Snorlax is definitely not... Oh, it's a Greninja. Okay, well, this is awkward. So this is gonna get farmed down here for sure. I think we no shield this because we know we live it. I was gonna say maybe we no shield this, live and farm down here, because the only way the opponent can win this game at this point is by landing the Shadow Ball. Now I don't remember how much energy the opponent had. That's gonna kind of depict on whether we go for the shield or we go for the Shadow Ball or not. But getting that bait call correct is fantastic, because that's going to allow SourBValor's Annihilate to go for the Shadow Ball and one-shot the opponent. Boom! Or at least what was left of him. Good game. Getting in a nice game. We got a nice lead here with Greninja with the Electrode. Absolutely loving the water leads here, and the opponent staying in, either not having a good switch for this, or perhaps they are core broken entirely. Or maybe they just want to commit to this matchup. I'm not sure. But going for a shield here, respecting the potential chance that there is a Hydro Cannon coming their way. And now Greninja's set up in a really nice matchup. And the thing is that Greninja really thrives in these matchups where it resists the damage from the opponent and just gets a free boost, because why not? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Opponent's shielding the Greninja, and the Greninja is about to say, hello, I'm feeling kind of sweepy today. Okay, that was funny. All right, Hydro Cannon is being thrown immediately before the opponent has a chance to do any farming down here. That's going to tell us if the opponent decides to choose shield here, and that is going to be an issue for... Oh, no, that is also an issue for this team. Now, thankfully, it is just a Fairy Wind Clefable, and they're going to be able to go for this Thunderbolt here before the opponent gets off the charge move. The Clefable is going to be very dangerous for the Annihilate here, so I completely understand why SourBValor decided to bring it in. The opponent throwing right away here allows a full Volt Switch to go through, which is going to be really uncomfortable now for the Clefable, as this Electrode's easily going to be able to fire off the Thunderbolt. Going for an undercharge as well, trying to hopefully get a farm, but unfortunately the opponent does not have the HP to really feed that farm. So Hydro Cannon is going to get the Annihilate down to about half HP, but the opponent has a Skeleturge, and the Annihilate is going to be able to land a Shadow Ball here against the opponent's Skeleturge, and I think this might be game over here, as the opponent will have to throw energy in order to get a knockout, and here comes the Skeleturge going for that farm down, but Annihilate's living on 1 HP, and the Night Slash is going through, and that's going to clean up this game here. Very nicely done by the Annihilate, getting that Night Slash off for the game win there. Next game, we got Electrode into a Giratina. Ooh, what are we going to do here? I think that the fact that the Giratina... okay, so we're going to switch into the Feraligatr anyway, because we're doing that super effective Shadow Claw damage and going straight for the Ice Beam. Hopefully going to be able to do the super effective damage. The opponent may even shield this here. They do respect the damage and come in with their Poliwrath. Now, this is something I will be all too happy to never see again in the Ultra League. Poliwrath next season, Counter and Mudshot are both being nerfed, so both... forms of fast move for Poliwrath are really, you know, Bubble is its only other option, right? And that's not very good for it. So I will be happy to not have to deal with Poliwrath anymore, as it has just become a nuisance to me in the Ultra League and even in the Great League too, to a degree. It's just, I'm so tired of seeing it. I'm sure you guys are too, so we're all happy to see that thing go away. But the opponent has a Poliwrath, and it's going to get farmed down by the Electrode. Now, do they respect the Scald here, or do they think it's just an Icy Wind? Gonna call the Icy Wind. That's gonna give even more farm to the Electrode, actually. Maybe not. Maybe it's still only not the same amount. The opponent has a Registeel in the back. This is going to be really huge for the Annihilate, but if it can start getting ahead on energy here, it has a shield advantage. The opponent does have energy stored on the Giratina, though. They had about 7 or 9 Shadow Claws worth of energy. They have the Shadow Sneak. This is dangerous for this for this Annihilate. If they go for another Shadow Sneak, might not be a good time. They're going for the Dragon Claw bait now because they know they're going to get a shield out of it. Now we're going to see the Night Slash get thrown. The opponent has to respect a Shadow Ball here because they have a Registeel in the back, and they do. Now SourBValor can go for this Shadow Ball, but is it going to come at the expense of the final shield? I think so. They're going for the Shadow Sneak, trying to get that knockout. They won't be able to get to another move, but it's charge attack priority, and it's all going to come down to, does the Shadow Ball knock out? And I don't think it does. This is a Giratina. It's not. Never mind. It does the job. It does the job.
Boom!
But the opponent making... Okay, I like this play so much. Swapping out, forcing the opponent to throw this move, but because of how close Valor is to the Shadow Ball, now it makes it so that the Registeel can literally never be able to throw a move here. The Shadow Ball is going to connect, leave the Registeel on 1 HP, and the counter's going to finish the job, and that's a good game. Electrode into Feraligatr, maybe another ABA Water team, we'll see, but Electrode's loving this lead here, even though it gets very heavily outpaced, and so do most things, honestly. In the Ultra League by Feraligatr, because Feraligatr's got one of the quickest fast move cycles, or fastest charge move cycles in the entirety of the Ultra League. Now here comes a Giratina, and this is going to be Feraligatr time for sure. Getting this foul play in allows the Feraligatr now to strictly just go for the Hydro Cannons. You could build up to the Ice Beam, see if you can get a shield off the opponent, but there's no way that they shield if they know that there is just a Hydro Cannon coming. So I like the fact that SourBValor builds up here and goes for the Hydro Cannon. You can still farm down if this connects and the opponent doesn't shield, which they do not. So now we're going to get the extra energy on the Feraligatr and allow the opponent's Feraligatr is basically going to have to take a couple of moves here before it can farm down if that's what it wants to do. No, the opponent comes in with a Cresselia and then tries to catch a crunch or something. I don't know what that was. They were trying to get ahead on energy, but showing the Cresselia now clues in SourBValor to the fact that Does Annihilate might not be so effective anymore in the end game. So it might be time to bring in the Annihilate at some point. But going in with the Electrode and getting the farm down, the snipe is nice here. Gonna come in with Cresselia at the opponent's final Pokemon here. Foul plays will do super effective damage. The opponent does have to start shielding something at some point, and SourBValor's in a very good spot here. Doesn't have to shield anything. Cresselia can never just one-shot this Electrode, even though it is a Shadow Pokemon here. Moonblast would have probably been the better play to go for, or even a Future Sight. Future Sight would have definitely been enough to knock out from there. Moonblast would have probably been close, but the opponent gets a significant farm down here, and I think we just have to come in with the Feraligatr and force them to throw this energy. Now, all the Annihilate has to do here is be able to land a Shadow Ball. I think that might be enough here, but we'll see. SourBValor coming in with the Annihilate, looking to go for that Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball would do heavy, super effective damage in this match with the Cresselia. Shielding up the Moonblast, knowing now that the opponent does not have Future Sight, allows this to be a winnable game no matter what, because the opponent can never one-shot, but that Shadow Ball is going to do the trick.
Boom!
Getting into another game here with another... Oh, a shiny Greninja. Love to see it. The opponent immediately switches into their Ampharos here. And we can go for the foul play here before the opponent gets to a move. I would have liked to see the foul play off here because the opponent was one turn behind. And that basically always means that you get that foul play off for free. Now, in this case, what happens is the opponent threw first, and now they always get to sneak that move through, as opposed to on the other side of things, where if SourBValor had thrown right away, the Electrode would have been able to get a move through without the opponent sneaking a Volt Switch through, thus always putting him one ahead of the opponent now. The opponent having also the Water type in the lead, gonna make this kind of awkward here, because Electrode's now basically been used up. So we're gonna have to see what the opponent's got in the back. You have to assume that they have an answer in the back. There's the top. Oh my goodness, they Tapu Koko. The opponent running their own electric types in the back. Oh, this is it's so over, dude. Oh, there's no way. Tapu Koko is going to absolutely manhandle the rest of this team. I don't think I see a way to victory here, but we're going to see if SourBValor can pull this one out here. It's Night Slash, gonna get a shield. The opponent is looking to respect it. Wait, they don't get to another move. The Shadow Ball is reached. Tapu Koko's going down, dude. Oh, now. Oh, wait, never mind. There's a win condition now. Can Annihilate farm down? No. The opponent does get to a move, but this is going to give Feraligatr the perfect chance to get a head start on the Shadow Claws, or the Electrode gets to come in, get the full farm, going for the Thunderbolt on the Greninja. Greninja was in such a great position to sweep with the Feraligatr in the back, but we're going to take out the Greninja.
Boom!
Oh, that was a nice comeback. I did not think that they were going to win that game. CapCut. Not sponsored by CapCut, but they were the ones who was submitted. That was the footage was submitted by CapCut. So no, SourBValor just used. CapCut's a program that you can use to record and cut your footage. So thank you, SourBValor, for some fun games here in the Ultra League. I know I don't get to do a whole lot of Ultra League content as much. Mostly because I just haven't enjoyed the Ultra League with all of the Polyraths everywhere. It's just made it very just not fun. But I'm glad that we were able to see some fun battles with Shadow Electrode. I thought they were really actually quite entertaining. So let me know in the comments what you think about these games, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.